and even adults are okay unless you have some problem. And then we would have, these are in generalities for most kids that we assume that are healthy, that they're not suffering with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, or they don't have cancer, or they don't have diabetes or something like this. This is just in general. So now we have proteins, efficient proteins, eggs, meat, poultry, fish, and seafood. We have beans that we should be eating. Now we have the essential fatty acids. Next we move to vegetables, because everybody, all moms always say, you have to eat your vegetables, otherwise you're not going to be healthy. So what is it about vegetables that are healthy? Vegetables come with the insoluble fiber, which I already made clear and told you the purpose of the insoluble fiber, to provide bulk to your stool and just a general cleansing of the gastrointestinal tract. But the vegetables also come not just with fiber, but they come with a ton of nutrients. We call them vitamins, which are coenzymes. That means they help with the catalytic reactions that have to happen in the body. Vitamins are very necessary, and vegetables are our richest source of them. Fruits also have insoluble fiber. Fruits also have vitamins, but you need to understand that your vegetable source has a higher amount of vitamins and all of these nutrients than the fruits, with less sugar. And I'm going to talk about sugar a little bit later on, but I want you to understand, if you have a choice between giving your child a vegetable or a fruit, choose a vegetable, because they can get 2 to 3 times more nutrients, a wider variety of nutrients, with 10 to 12 times less sugar. Am I saying don't feed your children fruit? No, I would tell you never let your child have more than 1 serving of fruit a day, but you certainly could allow them that. But your vegetables are a better choice. Protein, soluble fiber in the form of beans, essential fatty acid in the form of nuts and seeds and your oils, and that would be all your oils. So your olive oil, you can cook with olive oil or use mayonnaise. Those are all good oil sources. And now vegetables. What else should they be doing? Well, they need to be eating some form of carbohydrate. Now they already are, if they're eating the things that I have mentioned, because your beans are carbohydrates. People say beans are protein. No, beans are not proteins. Beans are starch. Beans are loaded down with carbohydrates. So you have a carbohydrate source there. You also have a carbohydrate source in the form of your vegetables. So it is very reasonable that your children can get along with just eating beans and vegetables as their sources of carbohydrates. And I need to mention that your nuts also have carbohydrates in them too. They're mainly an oil source. People think they're also a protein source too. They're not. They're an oil source. And so you will get some carbohydrates in your nuts too. So a child could just eat those things, your nuts, your vegetables, and your beans, and have plenty of carbohydrate. But if your child is on the thin side and you want to put a little bit more weight on him, then certainly feed him the other carbohydrates, which are your breads and rice and noodles and potatoes and crackers and pretzels and corn and popcorn, cereals. All of those grains, what we're talking about mainly, those can add carbohydrates to a child's diet. And they are a source of energy, there's no doubt about that, but you should not make carbohydrates a child's diet. And unfortunately, in the United States today, carbohydrates in the form of starches, the bread and the potatoes and the noodles and the cereals and all the grains, that comprises the majority of the diet of a child. Now I'm talking about children that are past infancy and past being bottle fed or breastfed, because they have to start out on basically an all carbohydrate diet. But once you're weaned, then your diet should take on this form of the proteins, the essential fatty acids, the soluble fiber, and then the carbohydrates coming in after your vegetables. Okay, now what's next? Water. Don't want to forget water. Water is the best drink in the world.